Untold History of African Civilization. Untold History of African Civilization. Africa, the cradle of humanity, is where the story of humankind began. Long before modern cities and nations emerged, the first humans walked its plains, observing the skies, hunting in harmony with nature, and building the foundations of survival. Every step they took left an imprint on the soil, and every observation shaped the intelligence that would one day spread across the globe. Africa was not merely a continent, it was the birthplace of life itself. In the lands of the Nile, ancient Egypt rose from the deserts and riverbanks. Here, civilization achieved astonishing feats. The pyramids were built to touch the heavens, tombs adorned with hieroglyphs preserved the memory of kings and queens, and complex systems of mathematics and medicine flourished. Scholars, priests, and architects contributed to a culture that astonishes historians even today. Egypt was a testament to human ingenuity, a civilization that merged art, science, and spirituality into a golden era. South of Egypt, the kingdom of Kush flourished in the lands of Nubia. Its people were warriors and scholars, traders and rulers. Kushites ruled over Egypt at times, demonstrating strength and governance unmatched in many parts of the world. The kingdom thrived on iron smelting, military strategy, and trade along the Nile, leaving behind a legacy of power and culture that is often overlooked in conventional histories. Far to the west, the Mali Empire rose from the Saharan sands. Rich in gold and culture, Mali became a hub of trade, scholarship, and Islamic learning. The city of Timbuktu was a beacon of knowledge, where scholars studied law, medicine, astronomy, and poetry. Its libraries held thousands of manuscripts, a testament to the intellectual power of Africa. At the empire's helm, Mansa Musa, the legendary king, traveled to Mecca, distributing gold along the way, reshaping economies, and leaving a legacy that echoes through time. In the forests and savannas of West Africa, smaller kingdoms thrived alongside Mali. The Songhai Empire, for example, grew to become one of the largest empires in African history, combining military strength with sophisticated administration. Its leaders maintained vast libraries, supported scholars, and facilitated trade across the continent. Cities such as Gao became centers of learning, culture, and prosperity, rivaling the great capitals of Europe and Asia. The lands of Central Africa were home to thriving kingdoms such as the Kingdom of Congo, which developed centralized governments, elaborate art, and trade networks that connected the interior with the Atlantic coast. These kingdoms were highly organized, with skilled leaders and intricate societal systems that ensured stability and prosperity. They traded ivory, copper, and textiles, demonstrating that African societies were deeply connected and sophisticated long before European contact. In the south, the builders of Great Zimbabwe carved a city from stone without cement. This remarkable feat of architecture reflected advanced knowledge of construction, urban planning, and social organization. Great Zimbabwe became a hub for trade, connecting inland Africa with the coastal Indian Ocean merchants. Its massive walls, towers, and enclosures stood as a symbol of human ingenuity, endurance, and creativity. Africa's knowledge extended beyond architecture and trade. Scholars studied the stars, predicting seasonal cycles and navigation routes. Herbal medicine and surgical practices were highly developed. Metallurgy allowed for iron tools and weapons that shaped societies. Every region of Africa contributed uniquely to the continent's development, demonstrating that African civilizations were not isolated but interconnected with a vast web of culture, economy, and learning. The richness of African civilization was interrupted by foreign intrusions. From the 15th century onwards, European powers began to arrive on African shores, initially through trade and later through conquest. The transatlantic slave trade devastated communities, tearing millions from their homes and forcing them into unimaginable suffering. Entire societies lost generations of their population, yet the culture, language, and spirit endured across oceans. Colonial powers later divided Africa without regard to its diverse peoples or established kingdoms. Maps drawn in European capitals carved the continent into arbitrary nations. Resources were extracted, labor exploited, and histories rewritten to minimize African achievements. Schools taught that Africa was uncivilized, erasing the evidence of centuries of accomplishment. Despite these forces, African civilizations adapted, resisted, and survived. Oral histories preserved stories of kingdoms, kings, and heroes. Music, art, and storytelling became vessels for culture and memory, passing knowledge from one generation to the next. In villages and cities alike, Africans maintained their identities and wisdom.